Welcome to the screencast on screencasting and a couple of other things. I just wanted to give you a little bit of an overview of how QuickTime might work for you as a screencasting tool. You have lots of other options. People have been using Jing. Whatever works for you is fine. Since QuickTime is on the Milty image, I thought I'd start with that. Your best option here is to go to open it up, QuickTime, File, New Screen Recording. Now, obviously I don't have that option since I am currently recording. So that's how you get started. It will give you the option of selecting a small portion of the screen or clicking to include the entire screen. I typically use the entire screen as it gives a better overview of where everything is located to the people who are viewing it later. Sometimes people get lost when they don't have references like their top title bar or their bottom dock or that kind of thing. The second thing I'm going to suggest is that if you don't have OmniDazzle already, that you go get it, and that you select Bullseye so that your cursor can be a little more visible as you are presenting. There are some other options, but Bullseye is my particular choice here. And we will go for the key command, and now you can see my cursor has that lovely bullseye. You can configure this with more rings or making it larger or smaller in here, but I tend to like it to be big enough to see, but not so big it's distracting, and I find fewer rings less distracting, but that's just me. And I like to play with colors, so feel free to do that too. You can adjust any or all of these to whatever works for you, depending on the tones that you are presenting about. So it helps to have at least one dark ring, again, contrast, we've heard that before, and a lighter ring, so that they show up pretty well. But it can be blue as much as it can be red. We tend to focus on red as a presentation tool just because it grabs people's attention. And it also tends to contrast with whatever's on the screen. Okay, so that having been said, we now have screencast recording, cursor enlarged and highlighted, and I am going to minimize this screen recording. I'll show you more about that later. Now you would begin your screencast. So for example, I might suggest that people are having some issues with uploading multiple files to Blackboard when there's a single file upload available. You have a couple of options. One is to select the multiple files you need to upload and then compress those items. That results in one archive.zip. The 3 files are in there, we're all set. The drawback is that it is named archive.zip, as is anybody else's who compresses it in that manner. Option 2, for my sanity and organization, is to pull these over into a folder, which I've already done once. That's right, we'll replace them. There we go. Into a folder, select the folder, and then compress that folder. The good news is that in this case, you get a zip file that has the name of the folder in the name. So you can include your name so that when I download it, I have your name, for example, revisions of work that you wanted to redo, rather than 9 different versions of archive.zip. So, for my sanity, and perhaps yours in the future, if you're accepting work from your students, encourage the use of folders so that you can keep things a little more organized. Okay. When you are done with your screencast, go back down to the minimized screen recording, and you can stop. Obviously, if I stop right now, that's a problem. But when you hit stop, you will have this little tail end, or perhaps at the beginning, the getting organized part, that you'll want to trim off. which you can also do in QuickTime before you then save, export, upload, whatever you need to do to your file. So let's do this in stages. If I had another screencast, let me go to my organizational system, organization being all relative. Let's see, what was this one about? Oh, how to find things on Flickr. Okay, so if we open this up in QuickTime, there's a screen recording. You would then be able to, within this, edit the video. So after you stop your screen recording, it pops up, it says screen recording number, whatever number you're on. And then you can go to edit and trim, which is usually all I'm doing to my screencasts. I do not have time to do a ton of editing. Trim allows you to go here, drag this while listening, obviously, to wherever you need to shorten it at the beginning, if there's blank space, and at the end, if there's blank space, and then you merely hit the yellow button, trim, right here. That will then get rid of that little excess stuff so that you have a much more polished screencast. And in this case, I'm not expecting you to then take the screencast, put it in iMovie, add a title, add any kind of text overlay. You could do that. But frankly, screen recordings for tutorial purposes, the quicker you do it, the more likely you are to do it, and the more likely the kids are to get it right away. Or if you're doing it ahead of time, the easier it is to get all of the materials you need uploaded ahead of time. So, could they be fancier? Absolutely. If you want to, go for it. However, I'm more of a as economical with my time kind of person as I can be when I'm dealing with these things, so there will be no title screen. And no thank you, you've reached the end, and no musical underpinnings. So this should pretty much do it. Okay, so I'm going to cancel this, and I am going to minimize that, get it out of the way, and that, and hopefully that has given you a decent overview of, oh, I know what I forgot. There's always something I've forgotten. Nope. Screen recording. When you are done shortening your video, linear is not always my best form. You then want to export. Okay, because please don't upload screen recording number whatever. Oops. Or everybody will have that. So please call it something. So in this case, oops, clicking in, Flickr, Creative Commons, how to. Great. You can change your resolution. Now, if you change it significantly, yes, the file size gets smaller. However, it is really much harder to see your screencast. So decide just how much smaller you need it to be. You can also do it for mobile devices. If you want to put up multiple versions, you can save as a larger version and save as a smaller mobile version so that your students have options for that depending on the demographics you're working with and what's going to, again, best reach your audience. For the purposes of this class, please either 1080 or 720 so we can see it. That would be most helpful. And then we can export, and this actually takes just a little bit. So we will let it do its thing, and I will call this good, and we will go from there. All right.